This is the latest disclosure in a report from National Civil Defense Headquarters in Washington. It has been established that persons who have recently died have been returning to life.
Welcome to Dead Radio.
We're not doing that.
How did she come to have sex with a dead man?
Don't call me Radio Unit 91.
You're a dead man. You're a dead man!
He's God here in this radio station.
Place where the dead speak.
Rebel Radio!
I'm a fake? Yes. How'd you like to be dead?
You ever think about doing radio?
My team is dead!
But you're not crazy. You're me. And this is just radio.
By the powers vested in me by the Federal Communications Commission, I command you to get on the microphone in a serious manner and continue this broadcast.
All right. A nice, clean intro.
Yeah, thanks to Apple computers.
Yeah, big shout out to Apple.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, episode 151. I feel like the weeks get shorter and shorter.
I know. It feels like we were just here a couple days ago. It's been busy, that's why.
Yes, it has been. This week, we have Kurt from Mysto Mead in Carmel, New York. Hi, Kurt.
Hey.
You spell your name with a K?
I do, with a K. Some people spell it differently. That's fine.
My cousin is a C.
Well, that's because he's probably... Are you a Curtis?
Sometimes.
Sometimes?
Sometimes, I get called a lot of things.
Well, I mean, like, your given name.
My given name is Kurt.
There you go. I think that's the difference. Kurt with a C is short for Curtis.
Sure is.
If I were to guess.
It's supposed to be Harry, but my mother said
Oh, yeah?
not a chance in hell.
Harry.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be a Mitchell.
Okay.
Yeah, or like my nickname was going to be Mitch.
Didn't work out.
It did not, and I'm glad it didn't. You going to fade that out or what?
You were going to fade it out. Oh. I forgot how we were doing this.
Yeah, that's how we were doing it.
Oh, okay. I was confused.
You know any names? Were you always going to be Adam?
Yeah.
Always?
Mhm.
From word
As far
go?
as I know, yeah.
That's pretty boring.
Matthew's going to be Jacqueline, if he was a girl.
Oh, I was going to be Erica.
Yeah.
You had a girl? Did you have a girl name?
I was the youngest, and they were done. I was the youngest of 6. No,
so it was
this
going to be
is-
Kurt, whether you were...
whether I was a girl or a boy, or Harry, but no,
Harriet would work.
no options.
Well, yeah, Kurt, thanks for coming by. I know Carmel's a bit of a drive.
It's a
not
half
too bad.
hour.
Is it half an hour?
Yeah,
All right,
it's not
so
that
it's not
bad.
too bad. But yeah, thanks for coming out. We've had Mead on the show before.
Well,
I don't know if you've ever met the guys from Salt Point Meadery.
I did last week. I went up and saw Eric.
Okay.
Met him.
Did you guys have like a knife fight or something?
No, we had a mead fight. And it went quite well. He won. I take my hits. No, it's really great. I've been corresponding with him for a while, and I tasted a smidgen of it at Essie's.
Should just
Oh,
spit
yeah,
right in
Essie's,
his
yeah.
face.
And I just thought, wow, I got to get closer to these people. This is
Yeah.
really
Oh,
good
no.
stuff. So,
Were you hoping it was going to be bad?
I was.
You gotta
no,
say
I
yes.
was hoping it was going to be good because I've tasted a lot of bad.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah.
boy,
But
have
Yeah.
I
we.
was very, very impressed, and I think they do such a fantastic job. And it's mead right up my alley. It's dry, it's clean, it's really well made, it's delicate.
It's tricky. It's tricky sometimes selling it to people. Like,
Yeah, because
just
they expect
tell me
expect
about
something
it.
super sweet.
Well,
Yeah.
thanks to the Renaissance fairs and the
Yep.
history of mead,
Yeah.
But our goal is to never go there.
Oh, of course. Why would you?
We do make a semi-sweet mead because people are asking for it, but
Yeah.
my palate goes toward the dry.
yeah.
Yeah. Mine
Ours,
too.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I always had I've made some mead myself, and I always liked my stuff better than anything I could find, except for like a couple of South African ones that I was exposed to. And other than that, you really just had like Carol's Mead, a couple of the other ones, and they're just so sweet. And it's like I can't even, like I've said that they're bad on the show, but it's more I just would never like anything that sweet ever. So I guess if you like sweet stuff, it might be good, but you know, I'm not trying to, you know, just talk shit, but I mean, it's way too sweet for me to drink.
Whether it's mead or soda or anything like that, if it's really super sweet, I just can't do it. I don't even eat dessert, so you know,
I'm a sweet freak. I love sweet, love sweet. But when it comes to my alcohol,
no,
I want it dry. Once in a while, I'll do like, you know, we were in Hawaii and I snuck over to the beachside bar and got myself one of those big strawberry freaking things just so I could sit on the beach with a big strawberry drink, you know.
Looking cool.
But I liked it enough, but not enough to drink them all the time.
Yeah, once, maybe.
What I was, Adam just kind of, where did you find their stuff? At Arlington or?
Over at Arlington Wine and Liquor.
I was very impressed that you brought that on the show. It kind of blew my mind.
Yeah, every single time I walk in that store, it's the first shelf to the right. I look and see if they have anything new, because they only have the sweet, crappy stuff.
And why would you even be looking for mead?
Because I love it. Just really like
because
it.
You've made it.
Yeah,
and
you know, and I've asked them, and they're like, "Oh, we can order it for you." I'm like, "I can order it for me. I want to be able to walk in here and get it. You know, I can order it online if I'm going to go through all of that."
Yeah,
you know, but I down at Viscount and Wappenders, they have a couple of options, but nothing major.
Pretty good stock of ours at this point.
Yeah,
that's good.
They do carry yours now.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I haven't been down there in a while, but that's where I used to get it. It was Equalica was the only other one that around here that I could get around here that I really liked, and that's a South African. And now with Salt Point, and then I was like, ooh, competition, and it's made local, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you got quite a variety too on top of it. I just had a quick chance to blast through them a little bit.
We're kind of crazy, but you know, it's in pursuit of getting that ultimate.
You got to try and
you got to experiment.
You got to experiment. You got to blanket too. You got to blanket your audience.
We got to try things, let people try them, and then find out if we can have something for everybody. But it all comes from basically our palate first, and then we take it from there and try and improve it. So,
what I was reading about you guys, Bob he's the head mead maker, I guess, or is he
both
the meadist?
We're both the meadists.
Okay.
He kind of got this gig happening because he has a rather strong history in herbology.
Yeah, that's what I was reading. That's very
educated,
interesting.
and he understands that, and that's kind of what got him going. Because, I mean, mead was used and still is in Eastern medicine as a medicinal
absolutely
thing.
And antioxidant properties of honey and everything.
And also when you mix things like elderberry or other herbs and spices into it. And so he had some mead that he'd been making just as a part of his herb thing. And so we were down there having dinner with him, and he said, I'd like to try this mead. And I tried it, and it was a rosemary ginger. Kind of knocked me back a bit because it was really, really strong.
Yeah.
And he says, well, that's the herbs. That's to heal. And I thought, well, if we tone this back a bit, can we get a little more commercial?
Yeah.
Because it's still going to be healthy, but you want to be able to drink it. And he was totally open. He's really smart, knows his stuff, and so he really was the impetus for the whole beginning of this. And they live in Chelsea in an apartment. I have a place up here in Putnam County that used to be a hot glass shop, which I shut down, and so I had a space. Said, let's clean that stuff out, and if you want to make a go of it, let's give it a shot.
You've been going for when is it going to be? It's going to be 4 years.
It's going to be 4 years, yeah.
And when you brewed your first batch on the winter solstice, Which
Well, that wasn't the first batch, but that was the first official, legal batch, I guess we could say.
okay.
That you could sell, yeah.
But we'd been making it for years prior to that, just, by the gallon, by the 5 gallon, by the 3 gallon, trying to figure out.
But never over that and never for profit.
Yeah.
No, only for pleasure.
Yeah.
Lots of pleasure.
I would do 5-gallon batches, and like I'd give him a bottle, and that would be all I would give away. Did you break your mug already?
I did. It's everywhere.
It's not the first time, right?
So, did you really break it? Can I see it? So Ryan got this really nice bone china mug.
No, it was my water bottle.
Oh, okay. I was thinking you broke your bone china mug. Oh, well, that's good.
Take this to the Mead fight.
Yeah.
Give me a second. Let me find a towel.
Yeah, so I would do 5-gallon batches, and I'd give him like one bottle, and that would be all I would part with, and it'd be gone in a couple of months between me, me and my girlfriend or whatever drinking it, and it's really great when it's that like get high on your own supply kind of thing.
It's just nice to. I mean, the craft beer thing is great. I mean, I can't say enough about it. The cider thing, but that somebody's actually beginning to notice that mead is out there.
Yeah, I mean, especially now that and we sell it at the coffee shop, and people are like, what is that? And we get a lot of people going, mead, is that sweet? And then you get to give them the whole spiel. And we carry that exclusively. We don't carry wine because he's like, this is fine. It's a gluten-free option. They're nice guys. They're local.
Yep.
Let's stick with it. So people are definitely into it. I can see it.
It's growing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the 4 years that we've been at this big education. We do the farm markets. We do festivals. And it's just a constant same thing. What is mead? What.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it's just educating people.
But that's growing less and less now. People come up and they see our sign and they say, "Wow, mead! Yeah, let me try this stuff. I've heard all about it. I want to try it."
Well, it's a spectacular product. Which I know I had the rum soaked oak, and I think the Superstar was the one that was sold there. That might have been the first one that I reviewed on the show, and they're both spectacular. I can't wait to check out the Chipotle Cocoa.
Well, I did bring a few things.
That would be great.
Should we break them out?
Yes, we should.
Yeah, it's gonna beat Milwaukee's Best any day.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
It's really crappy beer. Yeah, we're in the process of buying a house right now, or trying to, so we have to like do our whole budget up. And so I need to keep the beer down for this month, so the lady at the Hudson River Housing doesn't scold me.
Yeah, see, Milwaukee's Best I no longer refer to as beer.
Oh yeah,
it's the Beast.
Yeah.
It's just the Beast.
My son brings that home, and I said that doesn't come in our house. Yeah, it's out somewhere in your.
You can go sit in the garage.
I brought 4 varieties here.
Oh, righty. I got plenty of glasses.
And I hear you guys are into merch a little bit.
Yeah.
Always into merch. We love merch.
Into a t-shirt
Speaking of
anything like that.
Oh yeah. Speaking of merch, real quick.
Oh, knitting is metal.
Oh, I got my knitting is metal T-shirt from Tony O. The dark side.
I should have
Valentine's
asked
Day.
you what T-shirt size you were. I could have brought one. I actually handmade shirts because we were so tired of all of these sites charging us an arm and a leg for an inferior product that's crooked.
And we didn't want to look like idiots whenever we show up to these we
do.
flea markets and bazaars and like all of these events like with where you're out with a tent. You guys get to bring booze. Everybody's happy when the booze guys comes out. But when you walk up to a guy with just a computer playing like their shows and a bunch of microphones on the table, what do you guys do?
Pretty much like what we're doing right now. We do that. Just we record it and put it on the internet.
Well, we got a large. We got an extra large.
Ooh, I'd be the extra large.
I'll be the large.
There we go.
Thank you so much.
Nice.
I love merch. I'm gonna wear this. I'm gonna wear this next time I see Eric. I'm gonna go to a tasting and I'm gonna wear this one.
That's gonna piss him off.
Yeah. And I'll wear it to work.
Stickers?
Oh, hell yeah, stickers.
Stickers are the best.
Okay.
We can give you
We
some
got
of
lots of
ours
places.
too.
See, that's why you use plastic.
Yeah.
From now on.
Didn't you almost break that thing last week?
A couple times because it gets in the way up here, so I just leave it around.
Throw that up there so the camera can see.
Yeah, I brought a the Chipotle Cocos. And here you tried the rum, which is a barrel aged. This is a barrel aged in a rye barrel.
Whoa.
That's what I'm real excited about, too.
A little different, a little more bite to it. This one is a grapefruit with bay leaf and thyme.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a Bochet.
Ooh.
Bochet.
A little on the sweeter side.
B-O-S-C-H-E?
No, well, if you want to spell it that way, sure.
My last name's Bosch. So it's very close. Kind of, not really. All right, where should we start?
Well, I wouldn't start with this one, but other than that, I'd say...
I mean...
I want to go with the lightest one, I guess.
Maybe the grapefruit?
The grapefruit?
This is probably this is
sounds very refreshing.
It's bright. It's refreshing. It's got really nice acidity.
Bottle's cool, too. I like the magic hat. Talk about that, because I know what that's about.
Well...
Mysto the Mysto the magician.
Yeah, it's Mysto the magician, but it's only partially that. It's, we were searching around for what are we going to do here. I got this idea, and we told my wife's brother that we were thinking about doing this, and he goes, Dad used to make mead, and her father used to make really bad wine in the basement in Long Island. And he's long deceased, but we have all his paintings. He's an artist, and we had a box of his old linoleum woodcuts, and there was a lot of stuff about mead.
Wow.
I guess the mead was as bad as his wine. I don't really know. But anyway, one of them had Mysto on it, and so everybody gravitated toward that, and that's kind of how it came about. But yeah, it is. We consider it kind of a magical thing.
Some for you?
I'll taste, yeah.
Say when.
That's a good. Just a teeny bit.
He's got a long drive home.
Yeah.
There was also a disclaimer in there saying if you drink and drive, it's on you.
Oh, yeah. Isn't it always?
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
Okay.
Not if you're coming back from my house on a podcast where you drink. Where were you headed?
Yeah.
Just came back from an interview. No, I don't want that happening.
So this has actually not been released yet, so you kind of got the bootleg.
Oh, snap. Don't let me do it.
Holy Santa Claus shit.
It's a Dead Radio exclusive.
See,
we like the hacky radio bits.
We like the hacky radio bits. And a lot of people, when they come on the show, they bring new stuff, and I love it. It makes me so happy.
I didn't want to bring the stuff you already tried, but
yeah, Well, you did a great job. I haven't had any of these, so.
Oh, this is really good. I like how acidic it is. Like it's not like overbearing or anything. It just it's got this nice acidic pop.
Very bright.
It's really good.
This it tastes a lot like very traditional, a lot more traditional than a lot of the meads that you get at other places. Like they're all trying to do different things, And I think this was a good choice for a first one because you can really taste. This is a mead, a honey wine.
Yeah, you do taste the honey. The acidity is not cutting through it. You get the honey.
Yeah, and then I kind of get the grapefruit at the back, like kind of at the end.
And what's the herb?
It's like lightly effervescent.
Bay leaf and thyme.
Bay leaf. Okay. I'm trying to get the bay leaf. I always think of soup.
Well, yeah, I mean stews.
Every time somebody puts bay leaf in something, I'm like, it's soup flavor.
I was just thinking how nice this would be to caramelize some onions with.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, it's great to cook with.
Yeah. And then drink the rest of the bottle.
So how new is this? It's not out yet, but
I've been making it for about 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
It's just the labels are holding us up a bit. We're a little short on resources.
Yeah.
But I think it's really pretty. I like it. It's one of my favorites. And I think it's got a special thing that I've never tasted with mead before. So yeah. It's nice and dried.
Yeah, I love how dry it is, and I like the. So you do 375 size bottles, 370.
We do 750s and 375s. For this one, because it's such a small release, I've only made 10 gallons of it. I just put it all in 375s, and I'm testing it out at the farm markets.
Yeah.
Guys like you, neighbors.
This, you would sell the hell out of this, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and I love that it's like when we first open, it's just like lightly effervescent. I love that because that just really speaks to like quality.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, it's pretty wonderful. So it's 12.5% alcohol. It's very, very
12.5.
Yeah.
All right.
It's very nice. It's 2.5% more than the other guys. Yeah.
I don't know if that's good or bad. We,
no.
We kind of stayed in that way.
No, we like to pretend that we have rivalries with people that we're just friends with. And
Yeah.
Salt Point, we make digs at them sometimes.
And
That's all right.
except for Dark Side Records, they can go to hell.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Okay.
Do you shoot for a specific alcohol content? Do you want it under 13? Do you want it over 10? Does it matter?
I don't think it matters. I think we thought it mattered in the initial thing, but the one of the things about mead is it is so versatile.
Mhm.
You can go from 5% sessions up to over 20% and get just really syrupy, strong stuff. And because I love wine so much, I kind of focused in on let's just start out doing a wine.
Yeah.
And so we're going to play around with it. We've played around with some sessions, haven't really been totally happy with them. They're better carbonated. We're doing some carbonation. We got a nice sparkling.
That was going to be my next question too, because I always do mine sparkling.
Yeah.
Just it, and it's also a little easier because I can keg them.
Yeah.
And so I do like little 3-gallon corny kegs, and I really enjoy that. And I make mine somewhere between 7 and 10% usually. And I started off doing 12% ones, but they were taking a lot longer. And then I'd have 5 in a night still, whether or not it doesn't matter what the alcohol content would be.
10 or 12.
So it was better to just dial it back to like 7-8%, do a sparkling one, drink it out of a pint glass. And I really enjoy that. And I think that opens up a whole new market for you guys because you could start kegging and
we're
going
kegging
to bars
now,
and stuff like that.
We're kegging 12.5%.
Yeah.
And,
oh, wow.
But it's a wine. And there's lots of wines that are on keg at bars these days. So
yeah.
But we're at the Falcon over in Marlborough. And they're doing
isn't that...
that's
the venue that Dylan Doyle played at?
Yeah. It's a pretty notorious blues and jazz venue.
Yeah.
Quite notorious,
Yeah.
Yeah. We had Dylan Doyle on a few months back, and he released a new album live at the Falcon. And, it is not a blues album.
No, it is not. He went a completely different direction, which is great.
He still hasn't emailed me back. Dylan, if you're listening, which you're not, email me back.
You ever get sick of mead? You said you're a wine guy. Do you go back to your wines often, or
often?
Yeah.
I taste mead so much, and when I'm in the mead works, I'm working on a batch. I'm not really drinking it. I'm just swirling it and spitting it out. So my palate just gets kind of overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I got to cut this, and 5 o'clock comes around. I'm gonna go have a glass of wine, and occasionally I go back to the mead, but my time is mostly spent just tasting and figuring out where's this going, and because week to week it changes. And
have you always done the taste and spit thing, or did it start out just sip, 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 and all of a sudden it 3 o'clock rolls around, and you're like, Jesus Christ, what did I do?
Yeah, the first year I think maybe it wasn't so much the sip, sip, spit thing.
Yeah,
it was not working out, and I figured my head's all off. I gotta dial this in.
Yeah, my dad and I had talked for a little while about opening a brewery, and that probably would have been a real bad choice for me.
Yeah.
Because it just would have been like, okay, so someone's stealing. Oh, no, Adam's drinking it all. Okay.
Is that really stealing?
Not really. I mean,
it's being consumed.
It's aggressive sampling. Like, let me see how this batch is doing, and I got like a liter.
It helps if you take a couple gulps, you get the full flavor profile.
Yeah, you want to just knock it back.
Sure.
But really, this is excellent.
Yeah, I can't stop drinking. I'm just like smashing it down.
So how do you come up with? Do you just kind of go, hey, this might be good, and just try it?
Yeah, I mean, most of the meads that I've come up with are culinarily based. As the superstar star anise. I mean, we cook a lot, and I love barrel aged anything. Barrel aged spirits, barrel aged beer.
Oh yeah.
Wine.
Yeah,
obviously.
You see, the funny thing is, I hate oaked wines, but I love oaked mead.
Well, a lot of wines are over oaked, and you know you can really over oak a mead too. You got to be careful.
I can imagine. Yeah.
So that's
touchy.
And
the bourbon barrel thing. I love beers that are like bourbon barreled or rye barreled in this case.
Right.
But yeah, pretty much anything other than like wine. I do love wine, but if someone says it's an oak Chardonnay, I'm no thank you.
Yeah.
No thank you at all.
Sometimes it feels like they poured a oak.
Yeah,
like
oak extract.
Yeah, extract in there.
Yeah,
something's not right about this. Doesn't have that depth. Doesn't have that vanilla. Doesn't have that thing happening that you get from the toast and the oak.
Yeah, but a lot of these, like especially like chili peppers. Before I had an Equalica was the first one that I had. They have a bird's eye chili, and I was just like, I gotta try that. And I was not what I was expecting. Like you expect it to be spicy, like all those shitty beers with jalapeno in them. But it's just it's like a flavor profile you don't expect and you don't experience anywhere else, and I think it's really, really cool. Which one? Oh, the Chipotle Cocoa. That sounds so cool.
He's giddy about it.
Yeah.
No, that is not spicy.
Yeah,
it's very smoke forward, and I just think it's great. Just because I love spice, and if I had my druthers, I would have kicked it up 3 notches. But I thought, well, do I really? We try to keep our flavors blended fairly delicately. So
you don't want it to be a gimmick,
right?
You don't want somebody to be like, that's pretty cool, but I'm only having one glass.
Yeah.
You want them to want to drink the whole bottle. Well, so maybe not ever. I'm going to drink the whole bottle, but
I kind of like.
We're going to drink all these.
You look at this as the kind of the mezcal of meads in a way.
Ah,
the mezcal of meads. All right,
I love mezcal. That's that's a really cool thing that all of a sudden just started popping up.
It's been there forever, but now it's like, what's going on?
And I've said it a million times. I'm like, I say, oh, I really like mezcal, and everybody goes, Jesus, because they think of the like Monte Albani or whatever the hell with the worm at the bottom, where it's rubbing alcohol with a worm in it. And now it's just like, oh, it's craft. I was just like, oh, bourbon is to tequila what Scotch is to mezcal.
Look at the moonshine thing. It started off with a moonshine, and now it's now clear whiskey, and people love it.
Yeah,
and it's just like that's straight out of the still like that.
Well,
like
so
that's moonshine. But
people are working at it.
The science has gotten so much better. You can get so. With one run through the still, you can just get such a better flavor than it used to be. If you didn't put it in a barrel for 5 years, it was undrinkable. So, like the stuff you got me for my birthday.
Yeah,
that's great. Yeah,
we just get each other
stuff that you can't drink.
Yeah. I actually tried to get him a bottle of mead for his birthday. I was at halftime, and I don't remember. I'm not going to talk shit about even if I did remember, but it was like $35. For $3.75, and I was like, no,
for a mead.
Yeah, it was 20% alcohol.
Okay,
so I kind of get that, but I'm not doing that. I was like, I'd rather buy him a bottle of booze, that's gonna last for that, even for that price. It wasn't really about the price. It was just like not knowing if it's going to be good or not. I don't think I'm going to pay. Like if I could have had a taste and said that's worth $35, that might have made a difference. But
That's always. I was talking with Dana Shishmanian, a friend of the show. His wife makes her own jewelry, like makes it soldered, melting down, silversmithing, pretty much. And I was talking to her about pricing out her stuff. She's like, if it's up to me, everything it would be X amount of dollars, and then Mike is just like, no, it's not worth that. It's worth more. That because your time and I'm like her where you just take it. I'm not my time and everything like that, gauging price and everything, cost and all that stuff, like to me just I don't know. It's tricky for me because I just want to just give I want to just give it away, whatever the hell. But that was probably, I don't know where
not the attitude to have as a
no
entrepreneur.
No, it certainly is not.
You guys got a great price. You like $20, I think, at Arlington.
Yeah, for $7.50.
Yeah, that's a
375s come in around 15.
Yeah, that's
perfect
more than
price
reasonable,
for me.
especially because I know how much more expensive honey is than grape juice.
Yes, like way more expensive.
So I mean, it probably like the $6.99 bottle of wine might make more profit. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, and you do use local honey.
We use honey from the Finger Lakes.
All right, cool.
So I mean, there's nobody really local that can produce the quality and quantity and consistency and price-wise of honey anywhere near us. So,
yeah, my big thing about honey is as long as it's from the U.S., I trust it.
Yeah,
you know, I watched that show Rotten about Chinese honey. It's scary. They take Chinese honey, they ship it to Russia, they put a different label on it, then they ship it here, and it's 20% rice sorghum.
What is it?
Yeah,
You get it.
Yeah, like usually about 20% of it is just rice syrup.
And there are people using that to make mead.
Oh, of course they are.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, of course they are.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it makes a very inferior product, but it's very high alcohol and very cheap, I'm sure. But yeah,
I tasted a mead from. Hey, what was the people in New Hampshire? I think a big mead maker. But anyway, it was a mead from Africa.
Sorry, we couldn't help.
Yeah,
because I don't know.
I'll think of it.
Yeah, the market's not exactly saturated for us to try everything. Yeah.
It really blew my mind. It was from Africa, the honey, and it was stellar. It was just like, everything that mead had came from the honey. They didn't do squat to it. They just made a really nice mead. And so, yeah, we try to stay local, but I have tasted other meads that use honey from other places.
I mean, from what I've heard, South Africa has like the best. They're on the cutting edge of everything.
Well, when it comes to honey,
yeah, when
honey production,
honey production and mead. I mean, I think they have more meaderies like localized than anywhere in the world.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That I read that somewhere, but I mean, some of the best meads that I've had, equally, because the only one that I know off the top of my head, those have been the best ones. And if you're down at Viscount, pick up a bottle of Mysto and a bottle of equally.
I've had that one. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We me and a group of friends drank 6 bottles of it at some bar in Queens one night, and that's where I heard of it. Yeah. So
what's the? I guess so. You guys have been doing it for 4 years. Has honey prices up, down? Where are they?
Down. Yep.
They just go all over the place.
They go all over not extravagantly, but it's it really depends on the season, how much rain you get, how hot it is, whether, one of our mead suppliers, his barn burned down and all the caps went with it, so his honey was out for.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So stuff happens, and then so we have to have a number of sources. It's fairly consistent. It'll fluctuate. 50 cents.
Yeah, I mean, for 4 months out of the year, something like half the honeybees in the United States are in California pollinating almond trees.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And we try to go with the honey maker who doesn't move their bees.
Yeah.
Keeps them local, so they're happy. And
and they don't
moves their bees.
Yeah,
when people take them down to Florida to go to the orange blossom, and then they
pack
bring
them up and like
luggage
and just
drive.
drive.
Yeah, and they think that this is another reason why I'm morally against almonds, because a single almond takes a gallon of water to grow. Like that's how many gallons of water a tree needs to survive. And California's been in a drought for like 10 years. So they're trucking in water, like physically trucking in water, wasting a ton of resources. It's horrible for the environment to get almonds. And then on top of that, it's something like 50% of the bees in the country travel to California for 4 months out of the year to pollinate all those trees. which could be contributing to colony collapse disorder.
Oh, because of the
because
travel.
you're taking, not because of that, because you're taking all the bees, putting them in one place. They're all interacting, and then you're moving them back out throughout the country. Like, why do you think you can't move firewood? You know what I mean? Because you can be moving invasive species, you can be moving diseased bugs, all that kind of stuff.
Plus the stress of travel.
Yeah.
They don't like it.
Exactly.
Shit, I don't like travel. Can't imagine
imagine
how it
if
is
you
for
were
a fucking honeybee.
in a fucking in a dark box for 3 or 4 days on the back of a pickup truck or on the back of a truck.
Human days. What's a day in like a honey? Like they say, what 7 hours is a full day for a dog or something like that. I can't remember how it works.
Well, a bee only lives a few weeks.
Yeah.
I think.
Except for the queen.
Yeah.
And then you open the doors and it's palm trees.
Yeah. But then there's they also do it because the bees they live off of some of the honey throughout the winter too.
Yeah, they have to. That's their food.
So if you take them to a warm climate, they don't need to live off of that as much. They're constantly producing. So you have bees, and now they're pollinating with something across the country. So you're basically taking the sugar from almond trees and bringing it all the way back to here.
I
Very
didn't think
silly.
that was just. I didn't think that was like a thing that you. Well, I guess you could do it if I sat there and thought about it, but it would never occur to me that that's what you would do. You drive them around like horses.
Yeah,
that's fucking weird.
Well, and it's part of it is because
what are you doing? I gotta take the bees down to Florida.
Yeah, well, a lot of it is because the like I said, Chinese honey is being smuggled into the United States under different tags, like from countries like Russia and a lot of the smaller like Eastern Bloc kind of countries. They put their own label on it. They say whatever it is, gets trucked into the United States, and 90% of it can't be caught because the only way they can test for like corn syrup and stuff like that, but sorghum doesn't show up in any of the tests. They have no way to test for it. So 20% of that honey, 20, 30, 40, like they go as far as they can without making it not taste like honey anymore, and that's what they do. So the only way to test for it is to put it under like a fucking electron microscope and figure out where the pollen came from. There's like tiny particles of pollen. It's still in that honey, and they can say this is all of this honey is from a Chinese tree.
Well, but and then they're cost effective.
And then they know, and there was like just check out Rotten on Netflix. There's a whole episode. I think the first episode is about honey. And
you know what he's talking about? That show?
Yeah,
oh my god,
it's a great show. You will never eat.
It's great.
Yeah.
As in you feel like fuck, I can't eat fish now.
Yeah, and
I'm not feeling so great.
If you're too lazy to peel your own garlic, chances are a Chinese inmate peeled it for you
with his teeth.
It's very, very horrifying, that show. Wow, but it's really good. It's kind of like Vice, but food.
Okay.
Yeah, really, really good, and that's where I learned all those things that I just said. I mean, I knew about the almond
thing. You said TV rot your brain.
Yeah.
All right.
The show's called Rotten. Yeah.
I want another mead.
Yeah, we're gonna try something else.
And then we're gonna. Should we do a master mix at the end?
No, we're not doing that. The stuff's too good. I promised Amy I'd bring her home a tiny little sample. So.
My wife's allergic to sugar, fructose, as it were. So honey would absolutely kill her.
Yeah.
So I don't have to worry about that nonsense.
It's got fructose.
Yeah, Ryan's very happy today because he has celiac disease, so he can't have beer. So when we have brewers in here, I just get to try like 12 different beers, and he just sits there.
Yeah, I sit there and try and make dick jokes while these guys are enjoying their time.
Just drinks his gin or whatever. Yeah.
I want to try the chili one.
But here we have the gluten-free.
Yes.
So
yeah, mead is gluten-free, and it's delicious.
I can open this one for you.
Fun, because
you look like you had a lot of trouble.
I did. I was being dumb about it. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just being a jerk. But this dog. So, did you have any prior business experience and everything, or anything like that? And was it hard to get this thing off the ground? I know liquor licensing and all that stuff can be problematic.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was hard. I mean, out of grad school, I was a glass blower for 25 years.
Wow.
So I did have business experience.
Yeah.
I sold a lot of glass all around the world. And
all right.
Things happened that couldn't be helped. And so that went down the tubes. And started doing cosmetic packaging design for a few years, and then this came up. Getting this off the ground, I think the biggest surprise was the TTB.
TTB?
The people you have to go through to get everything approved, labels.
Yeah, I've heard the labels is one of the hardest parts.
It's getting easier, but when we first came along, it was like there was no category.
Yeah.
So you guys can't even call this mead because we don't have a category for mead.
Oh, wow.
So our labels got rejected, and said, well, what should we call it? They said, well, how about other than standard wine?
Rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it?
It's pretty sexy, right?
Yeah, non-standard wine. That's
it's like the wine product you see.
It's like a shirt you get at Marshall's.
So that was a little difficult, but other than that, I think we.
Oh wow.
That's weird.
I want an ice cream.
Oh, it is a
that's
little
this
spicy.
flavor.
It's got a little bit of tingle.
Kick.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Get you on your toes.
Yeah. It has a little kick.
That's really unique.
That's wonderful.
But I think it's really nice and creamy. It's got that nice smoke.
Creamy,
forward.
yeah. It's definitely got a different mouthfeel. Smoky, spicy, sweet. Chipotle. Oh, chipotle. That's what it was. Okay. I couldn't remember if you said chili or chipotle or...
Chipotle that's what gives us the smoke and between the...
So I was trying to get... yeah, and the chocolate's interesting, too.
Yeah.
I didn't think I'd be able to taste it so well.
It takes a couple sips.
Yeah.
The
It just keeps coming out. It's
a nice thing about the mead that the honey lays on your tongue and you kind of get the flavors that develop just because it stays there for a while.
I just like it because you can drink a lot of it.
Well, yes.
I finish a bottle of wine, and I wake up the next day, and I'm like, I've finished off bottles of mead before and just gone, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure if I kept going, it'd be a different story.
Yeah. I mean, well, and it another question I have is, do you use sulfites?
Initially, no.
Yeah.
We started off with no sulfites, but over the years, through experiments and understanding it much better, we are lightly sulfiting at this point, just because
it's just safer.
It makes perfect sense.
Doesn't
it's
blow
safer.
up.
I'm not familiar with how they work and all that.
It's not so much the blowing up; it's the matter of shelf life.
Yeah,
they're not going to oxidize on you.
Yeah.
Okay.
The stabilization, if you have a sweet wine, then you have to use sorbate, something like that, to prevent the yeast from, kicking into gear again, and then you have a bottle bomb. But so yes, we are altering our technique. I mean, initially we wanted to be as pure as possible, but in the big picture,
I mean, that thing needs to be able to sit on the shelf for years if it had to.
Well, it's amazing how well mead ages.
Yeah.
From, these are a little higher alcohol, so they take a little time. We don't put anything out probably 6 months, but these are all well over a year old and drinking well right now. So
this is wonderful.
And this is this a lot. You can age these just like a wine.
I would imagine this one would age really well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
This would probably that cocoa would come right out.
Yeah.
I mean, this compared to a year ago it's totally different. It's really
that's interesting. We got a bottle of wine aging right now. It hasn't moved. We kept it in a closet in the coldest part of the apartment, and then when we moved here, now it's down here where it's pretty chilly and completely in the dark. And so hopefully that comes out.
When are you opening it?
Brooks 40th, which is only next year.
Yeah.
It's not. It's a couple years.
She doesn't listen to the show.
So
you're gonna hear about that.
Yeah, she can hear us through the vents. So sharpening the blade right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is. I would I kind of like. This is more like a. I don't know if I could do food with this. No offense. This is just my.
I don't think I'd want
taste.
to. I like it by itself. I mean,
well,
it's really
I mean, there's a whole.
I like it as like a finisher.
A whole food pairing thing that I can get behind to a certain extent, but if I don't like a wine, there's not a food that's going to make it any better for me.
For sure.
So I would, if I'm going to drink a wine, I can drink it on its own, or I can drink it with food. And mead for me is the same way.
Yeah,
I don't need anything to complement it. I mean, there are certain things that it goes really well with cheeses, the whole bit, the light seafood, but I really enjoy just drinking mead, drinking wine for what it is in itself.
I never was. I fully understand the whole food pairing thing, but I'm the same. I'm like, I'll have a white wine with my steak. I don't give a shit.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll have a red wine with my seafood.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't have to pair. You just got to taste good. You want to take a quick break?
We could.
We're at 45 minutes already.
Yeah.
Time's flying, and we still got 2 more bottles to open. So
yeah. This is my favorite stuff to talk about. So when we get back, though, I do want to talk a little bit about like your process and like
sure,
because being that I've done it at home, it's like I like to hear what the pros are doing.
And you're also a beer maker, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't done it in a little while, but I should get back. I don't have fucking time.
Nope.
So much stuff to do.
We do
I
not have time.
I sat down in front of my computer at 3:00 today, and then boom, it was 3.5 hours later. I'm supposed to be here.
Yep.
Yeah. So much stuff.
All right. Well, we'll be right back. Anything to plug right off the bat? Well, actually, we should do a proper plug. MystoMead.com, MystoMead.com. Also on Facebook.com/MystoMead. Check them out there. Your website is fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it.
It has information on it.
It has a shitload of information.
A lot of times people come in here and all we have is their name and the name of their band. That's it. That's all we get.
Sometimes that's enough. Yeah. I don't know.
It's like, so you play music? Have you ever thought about maybe recording some of it and put it on the internet? It's 2018. It's not hard.
Yeah, a microphone dangling from the ceiling. People are like, I like the lo-fi sound that they're getting.
Yeah.
You guys got mead cocktails recipes on here.
Mead cocktails are up and coming. They're really, they're pretty fabulous.
I want to talk about the Adventurous Drinkers Club.
Oh, yeah.
When we get back to. So I'll keep that up. And yeah, we got a lot of you have so much information.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we'll be back. We're going to do some, I don't know. I'm just going to do some, I'm going to just going to do this. There you go.
What is this?
Judas Scheme by Logan Callahan. The Logan Callahan.
Forgot about him. I haven't seen him in months.
So, all right, we're going to take a quick break, regroup, come back, taste some more mead from Mysto Mead. Thanks, Kurt.
Crucify yourself as you move your limbs out. Look on me now. Those eyes mesmerize. Deep pools of blue. I'm
This is Adam from BC Kitchen, formerly known as Baby Cakes, and you're listening to the Dead Radio Podcast.
I always forget about that part.
The Padcast?
Padcast.
Am I up?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Turn your headphones up.
I always feel like I can't hear myself.
I can hear you just fine.
I believe you. I just asked. Jeez.
Yeah, welcome back. I thought that was appropriate because we never hit the what are you drinking thing. But everybody knows
Yeah,
that.
we have a bumper for What Are You Drinking, which is our review segment.
Or a stinger.
Yeah.
Stinger, as if you will.
Yeah. Okay. If you want to be a radio hack, yeah.
Yeah, so, if you're just joining us, we're here with Kurt from Mysto Mead. He's one of the meaderers. What do you call yourself?
Not that.
Well,
I think it's meadist or
I
something.
call her a meterer, or it's officially called a mazer.
A mazer.
That's
oh,
what it is. Yeah,
we
'cause you
talked
said
about
something
that. Yes.
Gozer and, yeah.
Well, I'm an idiot, so.
Yeah.
No. Not many
I
people
wish I
know
had
that.
stepped on that.
I mean,
isolated you going, I'm an idiot.
You know, Salt Point, his dog's name's Mazer, so
yeah, yeah,
that kind of.
Oh, his dog his dog that he has because of me.
Oh, is that right?
Oh
Yeah.
no! What happened?
We had a
Who's
we
this,
had a-
Eric?
Yeah, we had an event at the coffee shop, and we had them do a tasting during the event, and my girlfriend convinced me to get a puppy, and she picked the puppy up that day and brought it to the coffee shop, and no one cared about anything that was happening except for the puppy. And his girlfriend.
Had you met the puppy yet?
No.
Oh,
She showed. Well, we were supposed to foster the puppy.
Yeah.
And then see if it worked out. And she walked in the door, didn't say hi, didn't say anything. She just goes, "We're keeping him." So there was no discussion.
You're done.
I have a puppy.
Yeah.
Now he used to be a puppy, then he was a really shitty puppy, and now he's kind of a shitty dog.
Where's he heading?
Yeah, hopefully to an okay dog and then a
Right.
good dog. But his girlfriend or wife, I'm not sure. I think
I don't remember.
girlfriend.
Mhm.
She was like, "Can I hold him?" And then he's like, "Thanks. Now we're getting a friggin' dog." And then a month later, they had a dog.
I didn't know about that. Good for him.
The
Mazel
the
tov.
following tasting that he comes to, he's like, "Yes, we have a dog now." It's like, sorry, man.
That's the way it works.
Yeah.
That's too funny.
Yeah.
You just got a dog, right?
She's got a dog, and she's a menace. But
4 months old, you said?
yeah, but you know, I've had dogs my whole life, so you know, I would have trouble not living without a dog.
Yeah, I love having a dog too, but I wanted to get a dog, not a puppy.
Puppy is
Yeah.
a little rough.
Yeah,
you know,
and
we're probably crazy.
He's a pretty good dog. He's starting to learn, but he still has accidents. He's chewing stuff. He's just at that. He's 6-7 months now, so he's still teething and yeah, he's still
Male
learning.
dogs are kind of a pain in the ass to house train, from what
Yeah.
I'm told, compared to females. I guess females are better at it.
Yeah. I think it's the same with humans too.
I wasn't going there.
Yeah.
Well,
everybody that I've talked to that has a boy and a girl, they're like, my kid just shit his pants for years. My daughter, you put her on the toilet one time, she's potty trained. So, yeah, I think that's just how it is.
No, speaking of shitting your pants, let's have some mead.
Yeah, why not? One thing leads to another.
So we're probably going to go with the rye soap.
Yeah.
Let's try this one out.
Right on. Are you ready for another hit? Or
I'll take a small sip of that because that is one of my
This one I'm very excited
absolute
for because the
favorites.
rum soaked was awesome.
yeah, I had a smidge of it. I think I did. Yeah, I did on the show.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
both times that I've had your meat, I've had it on the show. So, and like the first time I bought it, like I would have bought it anyway, but I think I tagged you guys and Salt Point in
Yeah.
the post and was like, "Sorry, cheating on you. Maybe you should sell your stuff at Arlington."
Yeah,
But now we have it at the coffee shop, and I can just.
we're both
buy
big
one.
bourbon fans, and of the rye variety as well. Is like, you know, when you get a good rye, it's nice. You
Yeah.
get like, you know,
Yeah, rye is coming up. It used to be
s-
hard to find a good
yup.
rye.
now
Yeah,
it's
and
no
it was
big
just,
deal.
It was just for Manhattans, and
Yeah,
I mean,
right. It wasn't to be
Yeah.
had straight, but now rye.
But with that also, I think with that also came kind of this. Let's blend the rye with the bourbon, and we'll start cutting in rye into our bourbon too, and everything. And that's where you start to lose me, because
Yeah.
like there's a couple bourbons that I've had where
Redemption.
Redemption.
Redemption is a perfect example. The Redemption rye is like a full rye bourbon, or I guess a rye is not a bourbon, but anyway, you know what I mean. A rye whiskey.
Thanks.
And then I still gotta finish this. But they have their bourbon, and it's like 49% rye, and then 51% corn, so they can still call it a bourbon. And it's muddy. It's just not
I can
great.
imagine.
Not to shit on that. I think it's, what is it? The Millbrook Distillery. Is it Millbrook?
I mean,
Taconic Distillery.
Yeah.
Distillery.
They're that green label one they have. It tastes to
With
me.
the
I
dog-
don't
with
know
the
what.
dog on it?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know what it is. There's something about it, and I think they put rye in the blend, and it's got this with the sweet and the rye. It's off-putting for me. I mean, some people,
Is that your one
whatever.
there?
Yeah,
Can I just
Have you
go
had the Hill
splash?
Rock?
I've had Hill Rock.
What do you think of that rye?
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty goddamn good.
Those are the barrels we used to.
Oh, really?
Cool. Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
So
I think
that's
Hill
some of the
Rock.
best rye I've had in a long time.
Yeah, Hill Rock they're selling their barrels to North River Hops and Brewing too. And I tried to get them on the show, and he was like, "Yeah, sure, man." And I was like, "That guy's never going to email me." Yeah.
Woo!
So this is the rye-soaked oak. I wanted to rinse my glass.
Wow, that rye
Comes through.
straight out of the gate.
It's there.
That's good. This is like a really, really nice, like, this is like when you're having cognac, reach for this.
That's pretty wonderful.
It's a good nightcap. Oh, I like this a lot. Wow, that's great. I love how much rye you taste. I wasn't expecting like
It's almost
so
like
forward.
it's almost like a mead Boilermaker. You know, like with a shot in it.
Yeah. Write that down.
Got to try that sometime.
Yeah, why not, right?
Yeah. You want to know what you shouldn't try? The cider that I got at the other bar with that really good clear liquor that you got me for my birthday mixed together. That was terrible.
Yeah.
I was trying to improve a cider that I bought at a bar with a dump out of my flask, and it just didn't. It made it a little better, but it was not good.
Speaking of bars, we were at the Anchor in Kingston this past weekend, checking out Manu, a couple other emo bands, which wasn't fun, and
I won't name names, but
and a little hardcore
those
band.
two middle bands were
not so good.
I was talking to Julia at work about it today.
We went to see Womb of Nations too. I got to give them a proper
Oh yeah,
plug.
Womb of Nations. I almost wore their shirt again today, but I was like, I just wore it 2 weeks ago. I shouldn't do that. But yeah, they put on a great show, and like I was saying to Julia, I was like, oh, it was the worst music I've ever heard live, and I was like, and I know you know me. I was like hyperbole to 10, and they're like, "Come on, man!" I was like, "Have you heard of the genre screamo?" Kind of like that, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, okay." And they just went from like being, "Come on, Adam," to, "Oh, I'm so sorry for you."
Have you ever heard of screamo?
Yeah, it's just, it's an even mix of whining and yelling. It's just,
but
yeah.
It was
what were
bad.
we saying? It was whose fault it was. Like we came up with a bunch of bands
who
influenced all these. Like
it's Radiohead's fault.
Yeah.
Radiohead's wonderful. I'm just actually starting to get back, just starting to get into them. I never really was into them until recently. It was Radiohead, and who was the other one? A little bit of Weezer, and a little bit of
Blink 182.
Blink 182. There was one other one in there.
But I said that Blink 182 came from something
Deftones.
else. Deftones. Yeah.
Sounds like you're making a cocktail here.
Yeah. And it just turned
a really
into,
bad one.
It just turned into like
there are many.
Just bad haircuts, very easy licks on the guitar, and screaming and yelling mixed with
and probably a really good sound mix.
Oh God, what was with that sound guy?
What's up?
At the Anchor.
He's just mixing microphones in the kick drum. That's all. Because the kick drums kind of gets drowned out when you get the wall of sound.
No, but I
coming
mean
at you.
like all the mics kept cutting out and.
He's just a bad engineer.
He's just not good at his job.
Or he just wasn't paying attention. That's all. I want to talk about this, the adventure. Well, you wanted to talk about the process of how you guys actually make it physically.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's.
I mean, obviously, honey, water, and then all the other stuff.
Yes, it's not that complicated. It's very much like making wine. We substitute the sugar of honey for the sugar of grapes. So you mix a ratio of honey to water, depending on how much alcohol you want it to end up with. Honey requires special nutrients that wine doesn't. So, and then you obviously have to use a yeast starter, which we are currently just using commercial wine yeasts.
What do you mean nutrients for the honey? I'm sorry to cut you off.
You remember how you said it? Honey's antibiotic. There's like
you gotta
it needs things that wine doesn't. It needs like potassium and nitrogen, things like that keep the yeast churning away and eating happily.
Remember the first batch of mead I made? It took like 7 months.
Yeah,
because I didn't know that.
Ah,
yeah, it came out great, but it took a
mean,
long
it
time.
can happen. Absolutely. It's not that
Yeah.
it won't happen. It just is. You probably can be guaranteed better results the happier you keep the yeast
Oh,
in,
for
in
sure.
the ferment.
Yeah.
So our ferments take about a month, and then after that, it's a matter of sometimes we are adding ingredients in the ferment. A lot of times we'll just ferment straight mead dry, then like the stuff you're drinking now is put
Just
into a
cask it,
barrel,
yeah.
and then it's aged in the barrel for. You taste it, 3 times a week, and say, you got to pull it.
That's my favorite part, is that it's like cooking and not like baking, where you're just like, okay, now it's done. This is when it's done.
It's so much by feel. It really is. I mean,
that's the way I do everything. If I can't do it that way, I don't feel right about it.
I'm the same. I mean, a lot of people just go like strict by the recipe, but I'm pretty loose.
You just can't, because honey doesn't have the same. It doesn't have the same level of glucose every time.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can't just.
It's always
you can't just
different.
go by pounds. It's made by insects.
Yeah.
It's
it's
sometimes it's thinner, sometimes it's thicker. It all depends on the season, and like even the rain.
I mean, we
affects
can
everything.
Use the same amount of honey in one batch from the next, and the ABV will be 1 point off because there wasn't the same amount of sugar in there.
Yeah.
Whether it's crystallized and we didn't get the right part of it, I don't know, but
yeah.
So it's constantly got to be monitored, and so that's pretty much it. It's just trying to keep the fermentation is really important, to keep it cool, not let it get too hot, and all the yeasts that you use have parameters. Between
what they can do for
59
ABV
to 70 degrees. You don't want to go anywhere outside that, and you got to keep getting the CO2 off it. Stir it, and it ends up coming out clean. And
when I came to the realization that I was doing things wrong was when I decided to do a wild raspberry mead. So I just pressed a bunch of wild raspberries like by hand with like I used like a potato masher and macerated them, and then I just put them in like a cheesecloth and squeezed it all out. Added that to my mead, and my mead was taking a couple months at least. And then I added that, and it was done in like 2 weeks, because I added all of this extra different sugar plus all these other nutrients, and it just went nuts and fermented right off. And it was like one of the driest meads I ever made.
And the raspberries probably had their own yeast.
Yeah. And I didn't boil anything. I just put it right in there.
It came out. It was
so
really good.
And I've never been able to get it that good. But if anybody's local, you want to pick raspberries, Sheaf Road, you can. I mean, Sheaf Road, for the whole length of it, you can stop in one spot and pick 20 pounds of raspberries in August. Wow. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's this weird wall of vines that you just
public
overlook.
access.
Yeah.
Pull over to the side of the road and wade into the frickers.
Yeah, and it's all
tear the hell out of your hands.
Yeah.
It's all parkland too. So
wow.
It's not. Yeah. So if you wanted to do like a one-off with that, that's a
I
good
would
place to go.
Well, I love doing one-offs.
Yeah.
Speaking of one-offs, this Adventurous Drinkers Club, which I love the theme. If your schedule doesn't permit hang gliding in the Himalayas, join the Adventurous Drinkers Club. We'll send you 4 bottles of amazing handmade mead 4 times a year. Stay home and be adventurous. I like that. Staying home is fun.
Well, yeah, that's my partner's brilliance. He's very good at coming up with stuff like that. And
it's like the Jelly of the Month Club.
It's a gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
We're trying to increase our sales and distribution, obviously. So this is just another avenue of. Hopefully we can. We're going to be introducing small batches of like what you taste with the grapefruit. I did a kumquat ginger mead today, which I think is going to be fantastic.
That sounds.
I got
awesome.
I've never eaten. You can eat the whole kumquat. You can eat the whole thing, right?
Yeah. Everything.
I've never had one before. I always see them in the store, and I always go, "Not today."
I think I've only had as like an ingredient in mixed drinks, like at fancy bars.
I think it's, and it was just. I was in the store and I saw kumquats. I said, "Well, I got to do this right now.
Yeah,
just got to buy it. And I got to do it." So I just did a small batch, but there you go for the Adventurous Drinkers Club. I think it's going to be great.
Yes, and that's always been my favorite thing to. I've always been like more like I want to try the weird thing. If it's strange or if it's something off the wall, that's what I want. You know, and like if your flagship, no matter what it is, food, beer, wine, whatever. If your flagship's good, that's great and all. But like I want to see, what's your R&D department like?
Yeah.
And
you're never going to get this anywhere else.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I liked Dogfish Head Brewery so much, because they kept on putting out some weird stuff.
Yeah,
but they've had a lot of big misses. I will say that.
Well,
it's like
I'm
I
not
spent
saying we
$14 on this.
It gets crazy.
Oh yeah, what are some like real strikeouts for you?
Well,
I gotta know.
Okay, we've only had a couple, fortunately, but one was learning that you cannot let the temperature of the mead get hot during fermentation.
Mm-hmm.
So we had one mead that got up to close to 80 degrees, and we were thinking, this tastes crappy. Just tastes off. Off flavor is just terrible. What's going on? Little research, got mead, got a lot of response. There's a great world out there that is willing to help, and then we started looking up specifics on these yeasts we were using, and figured out we just let it get out of hand. It got too hot. We didn't know. It was like our first year.
What about ingredients wise?
Well, you got to be careful with these. Go light, please go light. So, we both have been a little heavy-handed on a few things, especially like ginger and rosemary.
Yeah, ginger's rosemary too. Oof.
And so you can always add.
Yeah,
you can't take away. And then the other one is if we're back sweetening something, like we have
back sweetening.
We have an elderberry mead.
Okay.
That we don't like to have completely dry, but if it gets too sweet, it tastes like syrup.
Oh yeah.
And then it's like I can't drink it anyway. But
when I go out and I see like Saint Germain.
At least though, you can go. Okay, we're gonna pitch some more yeast, and this is gonna be 20% alcohol.
Yeah, well, we've gone that route exactly. Let's get this thing up there to a high alcohol.
If you put too much something like jasmine, I think Salt Point said they did a jasmine mead and it was like hairspray.
Yeah, too much jasmine is really weird.
Yeah. Too much lavender.
Yeah,
don't go there.
Maybe it was lavender.
I've done that.
Bad news.
I tried to Tuttleton made a. We went there for brunch and they did a lavender gin gimlet. And it's gin, it's lime,
Sounds
and
kinda good.
lavender, and I think it had like thyme in it, and an egg white. I'm a big fan of the egg.
Oh yeah.
In the cocktail thing.
Yeah,
a lot of people are grossed out by it, but
No, I
the
love
waiter was actually like, "We actually serve that with an egg white. Is that okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's better than okay." Send it
Just
on.
make sure you
Put
shake it
two in
really
there.
well.
But and it was delicious. It was fantastic. I was trying to recreate it, and I had some lavender extract, and I put 5 drops in there. You only need 1 or 2 because I took a sip and I was like, it's very, very herbal. It was bad. Too much lavender is rough.
When somebody says, "This tastes too medicinal to me," you know you're on the wrong track.
See, for me, medicinal, that's like a qualifying flavor. If somebody says that tastes like Robitussin, I'm like, I'll try that.
You might like that really sweet elderberry then.
Well, here's the thing. I've had elderberry ciders, elderberry beers, and this and that. If they don't get it right, it tastes fucking weird. It just tastes the syrupiness. It's the medicinal flavor, but it's really a sweet. It's like taking. Well, this is a terrible example because elderberry doesn't taste like it, but I guess what you would find if you added simple syrup to Robitussin. It'd be just like so much. So I get a little scared when I see elderberry on the docket, as it were, for booze.
The only alcohol, I mean, Saint Germain's elderberry, right? Is it? Yeah,
Sure.
because I've had that in stuff, and I always
They
go,
say it is.
I always
I don't know
go,
what it's- I
why'd
don't
you
know
put
what's in it."
Saint Germain in this good drink, you idiot? But the only Naked Flock makes an elderberry cider, and I hated that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really disliked it.
And Naked Flock's a great cidery.
Yeah.
It's just it's a trick. Now I gotta find your elderberry and give it a try.
Well,
put you on the spot.
I can get it to you anytime you want. It is good, but I also find that, and I learned this over the years of tasting a lot of mead, that it's the hardest mead to make is dry because you can't hide anything.
Yeah, for
I think
sure.
you can sweeten the crap out of something and hide some pretty bad things.
Like Carol's mead.
I didn't say that.
Long Island Meadery.
And I don't. You guys aware of the Mazer Cup?
No, I am now. That makes sense. What is it, like a mead competition?
It's the longest running and most infamous mead competition in the world. It's international. Happens once a year in Colorado.
All the fun shit happens in Colorado.
You know, people come from all over the world with their meads. We went there last year. This was like 500 home brewers and maybe 400 plus commercial meaderies.
Wow.
All there doing their thing. And the Superstar got a silver medal.
Superstar.
Pretty good.
Oh,
Our
you're a
star-
superstar. Oh, I thought you were like talking about
Our
somebody else.
first shot at it, but I was there.
Silver medal.
Yeah.
Is it the one, like?
Well, it was in the dry metheglin category, so there was only like I don't know how many meads it was competing against. Not that many, maybe 10.
What's that word? Metheglin.
Metheglin means medicine.
Okay.
And it means a spiced mead, basically.
Oh, all right,
using
all
herbs
right.
and spices.
Okay.
So a metheglin is a mead that's using herbs and spices.
I'm gonna start a
But,
band called Metheglin.
You know, I tasted
That's a good
so many meads in those 3 days, and they're predominantly sweet. And I had a headache that I just could not shake for 3 solid days, man. But definitely.
It's just, we did a wedding one time, and it was a Wiccan wedding. And they were like, "You want some mead?" And I was like, "Sure." And I took one sip, and I was like, I was waited for them to turn around. I dumped it out on the ground
over the shoulder.
Amy was like,
"Would you like some more?"
Amy's like, "I don't think I can drink this." I was like, "I already dumped mine on the ground."
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, Metheglin, a spiced or medicated variety of mead associated particularly with Wales, the Welsh.
Oh, okay. I was about to say the country or the animal.
Ha!
That was a Bosch joke right there.
It sure was. Ay. Silver medal, first time out. That's pretty big.
Yeah, we were shocked and pleased. It was.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a good sign because
I want to go to that. Can you just go to that and like just drink mead? Is it like
no? I mean, you got to go. You got to pay. And unfortunately,
I'd be fine paying. I'm saying, can I go to it like as a consumer, not as a
no?
a
you kind of got to be involved.
All right,
I went
I'll just
and I
make
was
some, it'll be
like,
fine.
I don't know what I can't remember what the term for it is, but I didn't have to pay other than to get there. But then I was carrying these trays of mead with like 8 glasses of samples to judges' tables. There were like 3 rooms with about 20 judges in each one. And,
holy shit!
I've never been a waiter before, so I had these goblets on a tray, and I thought, I'm going to kill somebody.
That's a terrible idea.
Somebody's going to get really pissed off at me. So I did that for 3 days, and
that doesn't sound fun. That just sounds stressful. I don't want to go anymore.
It was very stressful.
I like you said, essentially 900 different meads, and I was like, I want to go to there.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I want to be there for.
Yeah, but
as
now
long as
after
it
you just
takes
described
And
that,
I don't know
like the
how many I
judges-
tasted.
yeah.
I didn't taste all the meads, but I certainly smelled them as I was carrying them on the tray. And some were fantastic, some were not so great. But it's a great organization. Got Mead gets this all together. They've been doing it for years, and it's a great competition. I know Salt Point's going this year. They won a medal last year.
Yeah, I think they were telling us about it
in the home brewers.
Yeah.
So
I think that was the kind of the impetus of like maybe we should do this.
No, they got everything going in the right direction.
Yeah.
But it's quite an event. But there's a lot of mead being consumed, and by 5 o'clock, I'm saying I'm heading back to my room.
I need a nap.
Yeah, I need a nap.
I'll meet you at dinner at 9:30.
Or not.
Holy shit!
Make it.
Yeah, gotmead.com.
Yeah, it's
another website with a lot of info.
Oh, so much info.
You mead guys love to shove stuff down our throat.
Let's figure out how to go like next year. You could just smoke a bunch of weed. It's Colorado.
Oh yeah, you go into Boulder and there you go.
Yeah.
You're all set up.
Like,
it's in Boulder too.
Yeah.
Well, it's right.
Just stand on a corner and go. Does anyone have
Boulder.
weed? 8 or 10
I
people
can't
are like,
remember the
here,
name of
man.
the town, but it's 20 miles outside Boulder.
Wow. Yeah. Boulder's very very granola.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, like, you can smoke weed in Colorado, but you still can't have a beer above like 3.5% or some shit.
Something like that. Yeah.
And
Colorado?
like,
I thought that was Utah.
No, I thought that was Colorado.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's
Look
Utah.
it up. Let's see if I'm wrong.
Get on it.
Colorado ABV limit. Oh, you are correct, sir.
Okay. Yeah, because you can't get a Long Island iced tea in Colorado either. Because you can't have a mixed drink with more than 2 liquors in it.
Who's making up these rules?
The Mormons. That's not a joke. The Mormons. It's funny. It's funny as shit, but it's not a joke. The Mormons made it up.
Have you ever read Under the Banner of Heaven?
No.
By John Krakauer? It's not a joke. It's it's a pretty serious deal.
Yeah, the Mormons basically said like you can have alcohol, but only this much.
Yeah.
So in Colorado they do alcohol by weight instead of volume because you can actually pump more booze in by weight than by volume because alcohol is lighter than water.
So they're trying to get around it in
so
ways.
it's actually roughly 4.2%. You can do, but it's been tough for like the brewers there to go like. This is a stout that we made. It was really hard. I hope you understand how hard it was to make this taste good at only 3.5% alcohol. So,
yeah,
but they're starting to.
So most of the 93 Albertsons and Safeway stores throughout the state sell beer with 3.2% alcohol.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are certain exceptions for like they have like. It's not like a speakeasy thing. Like there's just like this weird way around the law where if you are a brewery,
the consumption of 3.2% beer in public is not prohibited by the state laws. However, many cities and counties have laws prohibiting the possession of open alcoholic beverage containers in public. Such open container laws may apply to containers of 3.2% beer, thus may limit the places where 3.2% beer may be consumed.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
So
So it's like
it's
you
like
can
oddball.
go to the brewery and buy a 6-pack of 7% alcohol beer and take it home, but the brewery can't serve anything over 3.2% or whatever it is. It's crazy. Very silly.
Wow, I didn't think Colorado was that. I think
Yeah.
like a lot of great beer comes out of Colorado. Not to step off the mead wagon first.
Isn't Avery out there?
What's that?
Isn't Avery Brewery in Colorado?
Avery, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Avery, Left Hand, Fort
fantastic.
Collins. Just, I don't know, to name a few.
Speaking of
just a few.
A great beer. Have you had Hudson Valley Brewery?
Hudson Valley Brewery,
in
no.
Beacon?
I have, but I don't recall exactly what it was at a bar. So I think I just had one, and he's had celiac since before they existed.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's not going to go. No, you're right. But
You poor bastard.
They're doing a great job.
Yeah, Hudson Valley Brewery.
Yeah.
All right, mark it down.
Amazing.
We'll give them a shout. Yeah,
They deserve it. Yep.
That's another. That's the good thing about the mead and even distilleries are popping up. It's another option for me. I don't lose out on the craft beer craze is finally kind of leveled off, and there's breweries out there. They pop up here and there, and everybody's aware of craft beer. You know where to get it, and it's just like, okay, we're all calm now about it. And but for me, I was very into beer. I've said the story 1,000 times. I'm sorry, everyone. Any returning
Sorry,
people.
Adam.
Yeah, sorry, Adam number 2, who listens frequently. But there was just nothing popping up, nothing new for me to try. I was stuck on wine. Then the distilleries started popping up a lot around here, Tuttleton, and so a bunch of them are already escaping me, Dutch's, and I don't know,
Yeah,
just to name a few.
Catskill, there's Taconic, there's
Catskill Distilling Company, Taconic Distillery, yeah.
there's Dennings Point and Beacon.
Dennings Point is fantastic. I love Dennings Point. And they got the open mic blues jam every second Saturday.
Right.
That's fucking the coolest show to see.
Beacon's a great town.
Yeah, but now that that stuff, and now I got mead. Another thing that I can just, all right, finally some more stuff in the cider boom too. Cider in New York.
You guys ever thought about doing a sizer?
We've done a sizer.
Yeah.
Nah, I was not satisfied. We're going to go back to it.
Cool.
We've learned enough. I think we know where we're going.
I'm just not.
I especially think if you're going to do carb stuff, that's a great route.
Yeah,
Because you could do like a 6% and carb it and say serve it like it's a beer. Do a 16-ounce pour. And I think it'd be. I think that would be a good okay, if you're not ready for this, try this. And then it's a better transition because you had the whole big cider boom.
Yeah.
When Angry Orchard is fucking Sam Adams, but when they came out with everybody was kind of like, "Ooh, this is a thing," And then you saw all these craft cideries coming out.
I don't know how we could compete price rise with the sizers. I would definitely probably have to be more expensive. And
oh yeah, for sure. You're talking like a $10 pour at least.
Yeah,
at a bar. Yeah.
So,
but somebody like me or him, that would be okay. I'll do one if it's good enough. I'll have two.
Well, there's not enough of you guys in the world.
Yeah,
to tell you
yeah,
we
for
need
sure.
More.
But if you can do, it depends on the bar setup. But if you can do like the 2.5 gallon corny kegs, and you have it's okay if it's tapped for like a month.
Yeah.
If they don't have to invest in the full 5 gallons, like you lower your price point by lowering the volume. I think that could be a great route to go.
Yeah, could be. We're gonna give it another shot. We're definitely. I'm not opposed to the sizer. We haven't come up with one that we're crazy about.
Mm-hmm.
I just think a lot of it is just people being stubborn and weird.
Yeah.
It's just it's like the Budweiser drinker.
Yeah.
Oh, I drink it out of you put fruit in your beer. Just try the fucking thing. Are you scared you're gonna like it? Jesus Christ!
Shut up and drink it.
Yeah, how fucking beholden are you to just like American beer or wine?
Yeah,
only women
American
drink
beer
wine.
that's owned by a
Stop
foreign
it.
company. Come on.
Stop your
Drinking
nonsense.
Budweiser is the least American thing you can do. Sure, it's made here, so there's some jobs, but all the profits going to fucking Europe.
Yep.
What the hell are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Have a fucking have a if you really like that style of beer, have something from Millhouse. They've got a Czech Pilsner that's really good. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, they do a pretty decent beer there. I like.
I really like Millhouse. They got some great stuff.
I think
and they're not exactly like a small operation. Like there's millions of dollars were invested in that kind of place. So of course that they could do the best of the best right out the box, but
they don't go over the top. And
no,
they've got a decent menu.
I've never had
easy to deal with.
I've never had like a bad meal there. I've never had a bad beer there. It's really,
there's something to be said for that.
Yeah.
Get the Brussels sprouts; they're fucking amazing.
Oh, the buffalo ones.
Let's crack this guy open. The Bochet.
You want to do this one?
Yes, it's Bochet. Not quite close enough.
Well, you were close. It was just this switch the C and the S.
Now this sounds like more of like a dessert kind of.
It's more on the dessert end. This gets everything from cooking the wine. This is the only, or cooking the honey. The only time we ever heat the honey at all is for this one, and we cook it, and it gets caramelized. It gets toasty. It gets.
Do you remember me talking about how when you heat the sugars, you get those like long chains that these can't eat? That's like the whole point. You're bad at stuff.
Apparently. Jesus, that fucker's really in there.
It's the bottle that couldn't be opened.
Thank God I'm recording.
Jesus.
All right, give it.
You do it.
Let's hope somebody doesn't get hurt.
So as you heat sugar, anybody at home, Bosch has not, anybody at home who's made rock candy knows this. You heat candy up to hard crack, and it It's because you're.
Am I cockeyed?
No, it's because you're using the wrong fucking part of the thing.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
No, it's a 2-stage.
Okay.
I was using the first stage.
He made it look so easy.
Poorly.
I know.
So when you heat sugar up,
because I never do a good job.
Never, not once, not even once. When you heat sugar up to hard crack, it crystallizes, and that's also happening on a
Is there
much
a better name for that?
Huh?
Hard crack.
No, that's what it's called. Right. That's like an industry baking term.
Wow. Did
You
you?
want
I'll
some?
take
You
just
diving in on this?
A tiny bit. Thank you.
Say what?
That's good. Yeah, the color, flavor, everything comes from just the cooking process of
Yeah.
the.
So when you caramelize sugar, and you heat sugar up to a higher temperature, it crystallizes, and it's also doing that on a microscopic level that you can't see. So when you're heating sugars up, they kind of create these like longer chains that yeast can't eat.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very important in beer, and also when you're trying to make a sweeter wine, in this case, a sweeter mead. You look like you want to punch me in the face because I'm doing my like mansplaining voice.
No. I was just like,
yeah, you just look bored.
No. I was
Okay.
thinking my mind trailed off.
So,
you know how I do.
so when you're making beer, the boil is very important because it determines how sweet the beer is going to be.
Mhm.
Because you're creating sugars that the yeast can't consume, regardless of anything.
Okay.
So that's kind of what's going on with this.
And that's
Am
kind
I
of what
correct?
happens with
Yeah.
this. That's why it's a little bit
So
sweeter.
you're cooking that honey so the yeast can't eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got the
Yeah.
look. It's actually got the look of honey in honey in a jar, like a brandy, very dark
Kind of
amber.
a brandish thing.
Yeah, brandy's a good description of this. This is great.
But it's
Oh man, I really like that.
Yeah.
but it's kind of got that, marshmallow creme brulee.
Yeah.
deal going
It'd
slightly.
be great with a cigar.
Hell yeah, a good cigar, or a loaded pipe tobacco or something like that.
or something.
Yeah, Ryan was the only 29-year-old I knew that smoked a pipe.
I still have it.
Yeah.
I just haven't gotten any tobacco recently. But oh god, yeah, this is delicious. Jesus Christ.
I would say like the sweetness level would be on par with like your commercial cider. So it's not overly it's not overly sweet. It's
the
very
caramel-
drinkably sweet.
It's drinkably sweet.
Yeah.
That's
The caramelization of it, I think, gives it a little bit of a bitterness, which offsets the sugar.
which I like.
Yes.
The bitterness
Yeah.
offsets the sweetness.
That's good. Oh
The
god,
bitterness is important.
this is really good.
This would be another one that would lend itself very well to being sparkling, I think.
I have not thought about that. That could be.
Think so?
I mean, we got
I
this
definitely
little.
think so. Like imagine a cuvee, like a really nice cuvee,
Okay.
like sparkling wine. A little like I know it's not really your thing,
No.
but like a sweeter sparkling
Sparkling wine is my
Yeah.
thing. Just
well,
not
I
that.
know, but you're more of a brute
Yeah.
kind of guy. Yeah.
Thank you.
We got this little cannonball. It's a gallon, so we can carbonate a gallon
Yeah.
at a time. That'd be a good
I'd give it a
experiment.
shot. I do test batches in my soda stream just to see how it's going to come out. You got to be really careful, but it works.
Do you warn anybody first?
Well, yeah, I can just I'll this mead's done, and now I have sparkling mead. But
It works well.
Yeah, you have to be really careful though.
What do you mean, really
so
careful?
if you go and then immediately unscrew it, explodes everywhere. So you have to make sure it's very cold, carbonate it, and then put the whole soda stream in the fridge for a couple of minutes.
The whole thing?
Yeah, it's like this big. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you just put it in the fridge for a little while, let it calm down, and then just unscrew it slowly, like unscrewing a seltzer at room temperature, that kind of slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it comes out, and it gives you an idea of what it's going to be like after you carve it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rich. I like it.
Yeah, it's kind of nice.
There's this like Brooke said viscous. She used the word viscous, and I think that's a bad word. I say chewy.
No, it's not a bad
Chewy.
word. It's just a gross sounding word.
Exactly.
It describes it very well, but
Yeah.
when people think viscous, they think of like
Motor oil. Yeah,
or
it's not like that.
KY jelly or
it's just,
something like that.
Yeah, well, like the gin that you just got me, the Ethereal by what is that? Berkshire.
Yes.
Berkshire Distilling. Yeah. It's the more I drink, that one is like it climbed its way to the top only because it's a unique mouthfeel, and I use the word chewy because the first time I heard that term used was when I bought a decent bottle of scotch for my wife for her birthday, and it said, "This is a chewy scotch." And I'm like, what does that fucking mean? And then I tasted it. I'm like, oh, I understand what it means. Like, it just has this, it coats your mouth, but it's not, I don't know, just invasive to your taste buds, or I don't know. I'm trying to sound like, it's just, it has a certain je ne sais quoi. I don't know, but like, I'm starting to see that here and there, and I like that I like that taste, that mouthfeel to it. This has that.
It's like umami in food.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I with my wife and I'm tasting a wine, if we're out to dinner or something, I always chew it. She goes, "What the hell are you doing?" I said, "I'm tasting the wine,
just rolling it
she
around."
Goes, well, does that mean it's bad or it's good? I said, I'll let you know, but
it's got great legs too.
I definitely chew it.
I think that lends to the chewy.
I like how sophisticated we sound. We're not usually like this.
Yeah.
Chewy's a new one.
Yeah. There is a dildo on the table. I mean,
I noticed that.
We're not that fancy.
What made you caramelize the honey? Like, what was that thought?
This is actually a French recipe, an old French recipe from the 1800s. This is not original to us at all, and it's just Bochet is a not a well-known mead. Not a lot of people do it because.
So Bochet is a style of mead.
Of mead, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Salt Point makes a Bochet. I haven't tasted it.
Yeah, we still haven't had
dying
that
to try it.
Sons of bitches holding out on it.
I know. Well,
most of the stuff aside from like the two that they've really put out are seriously like 10-gallon batches.
So I'm ratting them out.
Yeah.
But
sons of bitches.
But
are you listening?
They're doing it with Crown Point maple syrup.
Yes.
And
yeah, they've talked about it a ton.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we just haven't.
Oh, so
we
wait.
haven't tried it yet.
Okay, so that would be. So that's. I've heard of that. I heard the maple syrup one. So that would be considered a Bochet.
They're calling it a Bochet.
Okay.
I didn't really talk to him a lot about that, and he didn't have any of that to me to taste. But they're going to be tasting it at Crown Point on the 25th of this month.
We tried that.
We had it at. We had a little.
Yeah, he brought in seriously like a bottle this big with this much in it.
Yeah, no, that's not fair.
No, it was not fair.
No, it wasn't.
I was expecting you to give us a whole bottle to talk about on the podcast.
Yeah,
I thought you liked me.
But he brought in a little bit for us to taste, and he said like seriously, all we did was like a 3-gallon batch.
Yeah, well, that's
so
like
for like a tester.
The last batch I made yesterday was a 3-gallon batch, just because I don't know what it's going to turn out like. But
yeah, and you don't want to invest all. Although I do have this friend Chad, who's not me. So if you ever had like a batch that's bad, he can turn it into some moonshine for you.
Yeah, we'll just.
I kind of got that going on the side.
You have a friend named Chad too?
I have a friend named Chad. He lives in the cellar. Only comes out, once, twice a month.
Just slide his dinner through the slot.
Because a few of my batches of mead that didn't come out too well. One of them I put like way too much ginger in, and one of them I put, what the hell was it? It was just super sweet and not very good. And Chad made some pretty goddamn good vodka out of it.
Pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I also just in the fall I got a gallon of dark maple mead from Crown Point, and I actually made what's called an Acerglyn.
Acerglyn,
which is not a mead.
Another good band name.
It's a fermented spirit made straight from maple syrup, and then I aged
They can do that?
Yeah,
aged it in a
Chad's
bourbon
done
barrel.
that. Yeah, I don't think you've had it.
It's really freaking good.
Yeah, Chad did a small batch of that only I drank.
He's so generous.
This is a small batch too. I only have 2 cases.
Oh my god, I want to try that now.
Okay,
Acerglyn, and that's like a cool. I mean, 'cause New York's known for apples and maple for the most. Yeah, and maple syrup. So why the fuck aren't those out more often?
It's
Son of a
because
bitch.
it's a lot of time investment,
A lot of time and
and
money.
until recently.
Well,
until recently, it was like $50,000 a year to have a distiller's license in New York. That's why there were no distillers, and now it's like $1,000 a year.
Yeah.
So that's we can all thank Tuttletown for that. They were the ones that
True.
that were lobbying to get that changed.
What a
and
story.
They were the first. They were the
Unbelievable.
first New York distiller since Prohibition. And I've taken
Thank you, Tuttletown.
I've taken a couple tours there.
Even though I call you Tuttleton.
Tuttleton. I mean, it might be Tuttleton. I don't know.
No, it's Tuttletown.
Yeah. But before they got their license, it was $50,000 a year to have a distiller's license in New York, and that was just put in place after Prohibition ended because they didn't want it in New York. The legislature thought it was evil, which is silly. It's just silly. So, thank you, Tuttleton.
It's Acerglyn.
Yeah,
That's what it's called. Yeah, it's not a mead. It's just fermented maple syrup.
It's
pure and simple.
The guy's named Glenn, and he fixed Acer computers, and that's how I'm going to remember that word.
Acerglyn.
Acerglyn. It's a tech named Glenn that only works on Acer computers, and that's how I'm going to remember that alcohol. I didn't like.
I made a.
Of course you can make. Of course you can make an alcohol with maple syrup, but
I knew nothing about it.
See,
we went up for a visit. And I thought, why not?
Yeah, I've done it. I've done it before. I tried to do a maple mead, and it was terrible. It was really terrible. I had to give it to Chad. He took care of it. But it had this it had a nice smoky flavor, but it was a nice smoky flavor, and then it was just so dry. All I got was alcohol. So I think I would need to do something like you've done with this Bochet, kind of cooking the sugars out a little bit more so that it would be a little bit just a little sweetness.
Yeah.
And that same thing's happened to me a couple of times when I tried to do a raspberry mead where I used store-bought raspberries, and it just fermented out so fast, and it was just so dry that it was just
remember
alcohol and water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get that smell of strong alcohol.
Yeah, you need some kind of flavor.
No mouthfeel.
Yeah. So with that one, I wound up just cutting in raw honey and letting it ferment out for a couple of days, and then racking it and drinking it. And for the most part, at home, I don't really have to use sulfites because I'm not bottling.
Right.
So I rack it out and pour off, and then carbonate and drink it. And it's staying refrigerated the whole time, so nothing's going to happen.
Right.
And I drink it fast enough that it's fine. But there's been a few times where I've made ciders and stuff like that, and there's been a little too much active yeast in there and gave everybody an upset tummy.
Yeah.
You remember that time I made that cider?
Oh,
You thought you were gonna
God.
die?
I called him up. I was like, what did you do? I thought my stomach was going to, I thought I had the alien in my fucking
There's a
stomach. It was
xenomorph
just
in his stomach.
I had
It
this
was
big
growing.
basketball, my stomach pushing out. Oh, it was fucking awful. It was the worst.
Saved
Yeah,
this for you.
thank
You were fermenting.
Yeah, I sure was. Yeah.
Small intestine was fermenting.
Yeah, and my wife was super happy about that later that night.
Yeah, because you were really drunk and laying on the floor yelling.
I don't remember that night.
I remember you telling me about it.
Well, I don't remember telling you about it. At least
first,
not right now.
The first moonshine Chad ever made was
God, I can't get over this. man. This is
copper blue, like the color of the Statue of Liberty, because he didn't clean the copper tubing that he brought.
Oh,
first.
Jesus Christ.
That's not right.
Yeah.
That tasted like an alcoholic penny.
I bet that was not good.
I took a shot and I immediately went, "Blip!" I had to catch myself. I was like, my night is fucking ruined. All I could taste was pennies. Ugh, terrible. I gotta say, the Bochet is my favorite.
Wow.
Out of the bunch.
I'm surprised at how much I really like it because, like you said, it was sweet and I was kind of worried about it. And
It's semi-sweet. It's not.
This is
by no means a sweet mead.
I mean, I would say my favorite was the rye soaked for sure, but it's hard to pick a second. And I think that means they're all pretty much on the same.
They're all.
Yeah.
I'd go with grapefruit is my close second, but this Bochet, man, I'm just the flavor that you get from that caramelized honey is just fantastic to me. It's like a really good brandy, and I don't really like brandy all that much.
No, I've still got this sitting over here.
But this
is like 7 years old. You said, right?
It's garbage. But that's something else, man. It was really great.
I'll have to bring you guys back up another sampling.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I did want to mention really quickly, I don't think I told you about this, is that we're doing an event, a charity event on May 12th, and it's going to be like 30, 40 vendors. So if you guys got a tent and table, do a tasting.
It's all about
outside, right next to Crafted Cup.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
right on the street in Poughkeepsie.
Yeah, it's gonna. So
it's not on the street; it's in that vacant lot next to the Crafted Cup, 46, 48 Redmond
outside,
Avenue.
so we
yes,
need a
it
tent.
is outside.
Yeah. So,
and it's basically just for all. If you're from the Hudson Valley and you create something here, be it art, be it mead, podcasts, soaps, whatever. If it's made here in the Hudson Valley,
and
that's where we want it.
Alcohol is okay to be there.
Yep, it sure is.
As long as we have our marketing.
Ryan's
license.
on all the permits.
I'm in charge of permits,
so
which sounds scary to most people.
That sounds really scary to me, but I'm excited that I don't have to do it.
And what's it called?
So it's called HV Creator Fest, so Hudson Valley Creator Fest. I can send you a link on YouTube.
Yeah.
Or on YouTube, on Facebook.
Send me a link.
Yeah. But it's going to be a really cool day. We got like
these notes I'm taking won't come through when I get home.
If you
we got like 7 or 8 bands already, and I think we're up to 20 vendors. We'd like to get that up to 30. We got food vendors. It's right near Vassar College. It's on a really good day. There's going to be a ton of foot traffic, and it all benefits a local charity called Heroic Food.
And if you want to see what we're going through, just watch Wayne's World 2.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
And I'll give you an idea of what's been going on with
I
our lives.
I didn't want to go there with this whole thing.
Yeah,
I've been
naked
thinking
Indian
about
and
Wayne's
everything.
World since this moment I stepped into this place.
Yeah, I love that people are like, this is like fucking Wayne's World.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But the whole thing's going to benefit Heroic Food, which is a charity that teaches veterans sustainable farming. So I think that's a really cool charity, and they're local. And then hopefully, every year we're going to pick a new charity, and it'll get bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's gonna be really cool. And I think you guys would be a really good fit. And I'm going to put you directly across from Salt Point Meadery, so you guys can just stare each other down all day.
And there's just going to be a knife.
Yeah, there'll be a knife
on the table randomly.
No, it's going to be stuck in the middle of the ground, exactly between you.
Yeah.
So the first person to start to run, the other person has to catch up.
Who can pull the sword?
It's a match of a match of wills as much as strength.
It's just like, they're not going to go for the knife.
Oh shit! Eric went for the knife.
Yeah, it's going to be a really fun day. We got 2 or 3 breweries already. They're going to be doing tastings, and hopefully you guys, and then Salt Point. It's going to be a really cool day.
Okay.
So, and all for a good cause.
Well, when I can't find my notes when I get home, I'll let you know.
I'll send you a vendor packet.
Great.
Yeah, and it's also free for vendors. So all we're doing is like a $50 deposit, and you get it back at the end of the day.
The more local stuff we can do, I mean, we just want to get our name out there. Yeah. We want more people to learn about mead.
And you guys are exactly perfect. You're still very small. You're in the Hudson Valley.
Yeah.
You're making a quality product that
it's all small batch. It's just totally it's artisanal craft mead in the best sense.
Well, I love it.
And one of them almost sounds like my last name.
Yeah.
Fucking Bochet. Just make sure you bring plenty of Bochet with you. And on that note,
with that,
we're about to turn into a pumpkin. Thank you so much, Kurt. This was
it's my pleasure.
This was fantastic.
You guys are great. And thanks for seeking us out at Arlington.
Yeah.
And
I'm very happy. It's great
opening
stuff.
up the world to
even if you never came on the show, I'd still be buying your stuff.
I was so shocked to see that. And
yeah, I think it was like the first interaction was like I posted something and I tagged you and Salt Point Meadery saying I was cheating on them. Yeah, and then I reviewed you guys twice on the show. I would say 5 stars for both of them. I mean,
oh wait, you're saving this one, aren't you?
Yes, I'm saving. I have to give Amy my girlfriend loves mead.
Okay.
Here, wait, what is this? Where's the button? Where's the button?
Oh, I got it.
Wine.
Amy loves mead. So I promised her if you guys brought some stuff for us to taste, I'd bring home a little sip of something.
Just a little.
Yeah,
it's too good. It's too good.
we order mead.
We did all the fucking work.
Yeah.
Well,
did we? We just
Kurt
sat,
did
he
most of the
it.
work.
He did all the work. He fermented all of this.
99% of the work.
Yeah, we just sat here. If anything, I did more work than you. So he did 99%, and I did 0.9%, and you just came to your house.
Or stayed at my...
Yeah.
That doesn't seem fair now, does it?
Yeah, well. Anyway. Yeah, thank you so much. It's mystomead.com, mystomead.com, facebook.com/mystomead. Yeah, absolutely go to the website, mystomead.com. There's tons of information. If you need to know what you're buying, just click on Mysto flavors, and you guys have... It's very solid. Let you know what you're getting and everything like that. Plus, sign up for the Adventurous Drinkers Club.
Please do.
Yeah. And if you want some mead tomorrow, go to Arlington Wine and Liquor.
Oh, yeah.
Pick up
Arlington Wine and Liquor for Poughkeepsie. Viscount Wine and Liquors in Wappingers. Is it Viscount or Viscount?
I call it,
people call it Viscount
know,
and
but
people call it Viscount. It's so
Viscount.
weird.
It's spelled Viscount. Yeah. Also,
I got the Artisan Wine Shop in Beacon as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any others
there's
that you...
Boutique Wines in Fishkill.
Boutique Wines in Fishkill.
And there is...
Essie's in Poughkeepsie is a restaurant.
Yeah.
That's serving it.
They're carrying our basil mint. And let's see, there's one, Marta's Vineyard in Wappinger Falls, which is up on 9.
Okay. Marta's Vineyard. I don't even know that one.
She's fairly new, but she's got her mead.
Right on.
A nice store.
So yeah, if you live in the Hudson Valley, you can grab it. And if you live in the city too, you can get it.
Chelsea Wine Vault.
There you go.
It's quality stuff.
Milk and hops.
I've now had 5 different varieties, and they've all been amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not a bad one in the batch.
Yeah, for sure.
Love it.
So you want to talk titles?
Yeah. You probably have noticed Adam's been compiling a list of titles throughout the show. I
stopped at this one.
I didn't know what was going on
there. Yeah. We like to, any kind of like just
funny moments.
quips
I like
and whatnot.
Jot them down.
He jots them down, and then we title the show. So it's a big deal.
So an early one that won't win, but it's still pretty funny, is Mitch Bosch. And then we have the Mezcal of Meads.
Okay.
Which is funny if you listen to the episode, but I wouldn't pick it because it sounds like it's just shitty mead.
Mm-hmm.
Because of how people think of mezcals.
Yes.
It's very cerebral.
The stigma.
That title. And then we have Mead Boilermaker, which would be great.
Mm-hmm.
And then Hand Mead Made.
Hey.
Well, that's got my vote right
I'm an
there.
idiot.
And then Not to Step Off the Mead Wagon.
I like Hand Mead Made. I gotta go with that one.
I will defer to your judgment if you. But I really like this one. This one really.
I
cracked
do,
me up.
but
so yeah, let's go with Hand Mead Made.
Let's give that a circle.
All right,
and we'll do Mead Boilermaker as a hashtag. Why not? Right? Let's start a trend.
Well, I really have to pee, so I think you should. I think you should do some plugs, and I'm going to leave.
All right.
Plug, Plug Nomadic Boutique. Plug
Yeah.
Dark Side because we didn't talk enough about that.
Yeah. Good Lord, we got a ton of
I'm
stuff.
going to pee.
here.
I'll be right back.
Nomadic Boutique. Etsy. Etsy.com. Nomadic Boutique. Absolutely check them out. Local soap maker. Also, Dark Side Records. Thank you for having us at the Valentine's Day, whatever the fuck the thing that was called. Now I'm all screwed up because I'm not prepared for this. They do their annual. It's like a pre-Valentine's Day flea market type thing. We were out there on Saturday. Love those guys as much as we talk shit about them. We do really love working with them. Also, Knitting is Metal. I'm wearing the T-shirt. Tony O from Hudson Valley Legends, another podcast here that sadly was kind of stopped. Now they're starting up, but with a different crew. Tony O started a once a month, the first Monday of every, or second Monday of every month. Can't remember. Knitting is Metal on Facebook. Just check that out if you want to learn about knitting and metal music. We're combining the two things.
You know, they go together pretty well.
Also, the Crafted Cup at 44 Raymond Avenue in Poughkeepsie, New York. They're pretty much carrying us. Check out patreon.com if you want to contribute to the show. Patreon.com/deadradiopodcast. $1 a month gets you a thumbs up and a sticker from us. Zazzle.com to purchase any of your... Zazzle.com/deadradiopodcast to purchase any Dead Radio Podcast gear. Working on cufflinks right now.
Everybody needs those.
It's a little tricky. And once again, MystoMead.com, Facebook.com/Mysto Mead. Thank you so much, man. This was a lot of fun.
Cheers,
I'm good and buzzed, and that's that. Next week, let me see. I gotta find out. I like finding out who's on next week. Ooh, I think we have Dead Empires for our President's Day spectacular. I think I'm gonna dress up as who are we talking about? Howard Taft.
Oh, always
for President's Day. I was thinking I was going with Howard Taft.
That was like bad. Like I barely made it.
You almost needed to use one of these empty bottles. Yeah. All right, so yeah. Next week, a lot of yelling and screaming with Dead Empires.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm glad I made it back, guys, before the 17-minute outro is over.
It's over now.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.
All right.
It's very easy. Just like, hi, I'm Kurt from Mysto Mead. Check us out at mystomead.com. You're listening to Dead Radio Podcast.
Great.
And he's rolling, so go ahead.
Hi, I'm Kurt Swanson from Mysto Mead. Please check us out online at mystomead.com and join up for the Adventurous Drinkers Club. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram. And it's been a pleasure dealing with these guys. And I look forward to you guys trying some of our great mead. Thanks.
And you just do one where you say, and you're listening to Dead Radio Podcast.
And you are now listening to Dead Radio Podcast.
And just do it one more time.
You're now listening to Dead Radio Podcast.
One more time.
You're now listening to Dead Radio Podcast.
That was great. I think that'll do it. Let me see if we can figure out how this thing works. Ryan's the producer.
Let him mess with it.
Yeah. I clicked stop, so I think it's stop recording. But
Sure.
I think that'll do it. He'll probably cut together like what you said at first, and then just you're listening.
Yes,
to
he can just splice it along.
Yeah. It's honestly, it's not that big a deal. It's just kind of cool to have that like different thing every week because a lot of podcasts do all their plugs at the beginning, so it's like 8 to 10 minutes of shit nobody wants to listen to.
Yeah.
And everybody skips over it.
That's like God Made. You should go on God Made.
Yeah.
But she just likes to talk about.
Yeah.
Just like, come on, get on with it, would you?
Yeah,
Get on with it.
Everybody knows nobody's listening to that.
Yeah.
They still tell advertisers like, yeah, you pay me however much money for this, but nobody's listening to it. On all those podcasts, I skip over the first 8 to 10 minutes and just get rid of that. So what we like to do is to do a quick 5 seconds of just, hi, I'm so-and-so from so-and-so. You can check us out here, and you're listening to Dead Radio Podcast. And it goes right into the intro to the show. So it's too fast for them to even bother, and it's a different thing every week. So I think that people it gives you like a preview of what you're in for. You know what I mean? And it seems kind of weird they recorded at the end, but it's also like we spent the last 2 hours developing a rapport. So it comes off a little more natural towards the end. I stopped it. I think I did it right.
Did you hit the space bar?
No, I hit the stop button with the mouse.
Okay. Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, just listen back real quick and make sure.
Yeah,
I think
make
we
sure.
did a couple takes of the last bit, so your first part was perfect. So
Okay.
yeah.
Second part was a little bit off.